Happy Friday, everybody. I hope you're happy. Well, you do know you can create that feeling if you don't have it inside you already, and most of you do. And all you have to do is call it up and experience it and save it. Yeah, you can anchor it with a touch of your hand or with a word or with a visualization. And then you can recall your happiness anytime you want to. Feel happy. Well, lots of folks aren't happy right now. Yeah, your buddy, you poor bastards who voted for that son of a bitch. You're kind of finding out what's going on. Now there are some of you though who think he's doing a great job. Well, he's not. He's doing a piss poor job. And this whole tariff thing, I thought it was very funny when the one of the speeches that Reagan gave way back in the day. Now there's another fucking piece of shit. Okay. However, this was cool because he talked about tariffs and how they're not worth a damn and why we don't need them. And that was great. And you know, the Republicans are getting all outraged and everything. Well, half the bastards weren't even born when that no good grifter front man was out there screwing things up in the country. And he did. He coaxed a lot of the blue collar workers into his version of a chicken in every pot, and it wound up being an unflushed toilet. Yeah, there you go. An unflushed toilet that just spun and spun and spun. Anyway, you guys, off of that topic. Okay, today I'm talking about cattle industry. Now, I was raised in the cattle industry. I was brought up that way. My family owned cattle ranches. I had a little small, tiny little 10 cow herd of my own. And so I've watched the cow business for a long time. I know a little bit about it. I have a degree in agriculture. It's a science degree. It's a biological science degree in agriculture. So, and I have a pretty good agribusiness education also. And so I understand agribusiness. What I really understand about the cow business is the cow business has been going down, down, down year after year, and that imports have drastically affected it. So when a son of a bitch gives Argentina $40 million to help them out of their fix, and they buy soybeans, or they sell soybeans to China, and that affects our soybean farmers who are getting porked on this whole thing. Yeah, they're getting bent over by the whole damn thing. And yet, some of them still think that this no good son of a bitch in the White House is going to fix things. He's more concerned about building an opulent piece of building, a ballroom, and he's got gilt shit all over the goddamn Oval Office. It looks like hell. It looks gaudy and gauche. Anyway, so he's really concerned about all that, not about what ranchers are really going through. Now, I felt a little dismayed because I saw the head of the Cattlemen's Association, Beef Association, say, hey, you know, we need some help, buddy. We're not getting any help, and we voted for you, so we want you to do something for us. We think you can do. No, he can't do anything for you. He won't do anything for you unless it somehow lines his pockets with the stuff that buys the shiny gold. Yeah, so he's not going to do anything for you. Then this piss poor excuse. Gosh, what a shit bitch she is. Pardon me, ladies. I don't mean to offend women. This Rollins, Secretary of Ag, comes on and starts talking how this bastard in the White House wants to help out cattlemen. He's not going to help out cattlemen. He already said we're going to buy Argentine beef, which could have a certain amount of hoof and mouth in it, could be bringing in the New World screwworms. Boy, did we have a big fight with screwworms way back in the day. I mean, way back in the day. And then some great stuff by the scientists over at Department of Agriculture did some great stuff which virtually eliminated screwworms. But now there's a new strain of them that's coming in. Meanwhile, the cattle industry has gone down, 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 and we've imported more and more and more beef, okay? And the prices in your grocery store, and I'll go ahead and check in your grocery store. I'll give you the spot check from me. Now, I enjoy beef. I've been eating beef since I was a young kid. I love it. I eat steak, I eat roasts, I do as much as I can to minimize the amount of that type of fat that I take in and the amount of burn on the meat, because those are not good for you. Okay. So I bought 2 T-bone steaks last week, $25 for basically 2 pounds of steak. That's $12.50 a pound. These are steaks that used to cost me about $8 to $10 for 2, right? That's how much it's gone up, okay? And it's gone up, I think it was 13% in the last year, okay, is what the average grocery price had gone up. 9 million pounds of beef has been imported in the last year, something like that. How's that going to help cattlemen and cattlewomen? How's that going to help the cow business? It's not going to help the cow business and the beef industry. No. It's going to hurt the hell out of them. And so, well, this will drive prices down for the consumer. Well, it might do that. I mean, we used to import a lot of beef from Brazil. I mean, didn't all of McDonald's beef come from Argentina and Brazil? Well, it doesn't matter because I don't eat McDonald's, because they were mixing other things with the beef, right? And then it came out, it's 100% beef. Okay, 100% what? Tongues, cheeks, and feet? Yeah, right? Right, like hot dogs? Anyway, he's not going to help the cow business. That sow, and that an insult to swine to call her that, comes on and starts talking, well, he's going to do this, he's going to do that, blah, blah. He ain't going to do anything. Not going to do a damn thing. And then, you get the head of the association on there. Well, we face all these threats from endangered animals like wolves and black vultures and all that. Well, yeah, I guess you do out in the ranges that have those species on them. My dad made a living, and I'm not proud of this necessarily, even though it's really cool lore and stories, by hunting mountain lions and bears that were plaguing the cattle industry way back. This is back in the 30s, the 40s, right, that he did this. That's how old I am. I was born in 53 when he was 53, so there you go. Anyway, this is what's happened in the cow business over the years. Gone down, 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 down. The price per pound is up, up, up. However, it costs more to finish out these animals. Now, if they're grass-fed, that's the least expensive way. But then again, you have to maintain your pastures. You have to make sure they're disease-free. You have to keep an eye on the diseases that cattle get, like brucellosis and hoof and mouth disease. And now the screwworm's coming back. That's not a good thing. So this pus bag, this orange piece of dog crap, I'm sorry, dogs, I didn't mean to insult your feces. That SOB in the White House, and there is good reports that his mother was a bee. At any rate, there's good reports on this guy that he eats junk food. He's got health problems. We know he does. And those are being covered up, just like everything else is being covered up. And he's not going to help you guys. No. He's not going to lower prescription drug prices, even though we'd love him to do all these things that he said he was going to do that he's not doing. Okay, so he signed a deal with Pfizer. I guess he's got another one coming with a big drug company. Okay, but he's not bringing in $17 trillion in investment in the country. No, he'd be lucky to get $1 trillion. Right, and it's not here yet. New factories take years to build, even if they're repurposed from being an existing factory. Yeah, it takes years and billions of dollars, and it's not happening overnight. And in the meantime, the economy goes to shit, right? Okay, so the stock market's really great. It's up, 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 up. It was going up, 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 up before this puss bag got back in office. That's right. Inflation was going down, 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 and it was down in August, but now in September, it's back up to 3%. So, and you've been to the store, you know that the prices on your basic items have gone up. Yeah, like I was talking about beef. You've been to the grocery store. And then that son of a bitch had the gall to come on during the election campaign and talk about groceries. That son of a bitch, I'll bet you money in Las Vegas, that son of a bitch hasn't been to a grocery store ever, or at least in the last 40 or 50 years. He has somebody do everything for him, and mostly he gets takeout from McDonald's and Burger King and other fast food joints. No, he doesn't eat a rare steak. He eats a well-done steak. Why even eat a steak if it's well done? Unless you're starving, you'll eat one then. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want a guy who has no idea what it's like to be a cattleman or a cattle person at all. No idea. None idea. Never will have. Doesn't care about it. Doesn't give a shit about you guys. Yeah, out there. No. And voting for him and hoping he's going to do something for you, that's a joke. Let's see what he does for the soybean farmers and farmers in general. The small farmers losing their rear end. A lot of them are going out of business and getting bought out by corporate entities. We don't want corporate farming. No, it's not the best farming. There's a lot better farming techniques nowadays that are more productive on a smaller scale than that big farm crap. Because see, if the big farms go down and there's no small farmers, what are you going to eat? Right? Yeah, what are you going to eat? Huh? Yeah. Well, let's take advantage of what we know now. Let's unite. Let's get together. Let's push these guys out of office, all of them. I did see something, but I never saw a follow-up on it. There was a headline that said somebody induced articles of impeachment for the entire cabinet, including Trump and Vance. They all need to go. And that little mealy mouth pipsqueak from Louisiana, I won't even name him. You know who he is. Gets on there and talks and lies and lies. That's all these guys do is lie, lie, lie. Now, aren't you a little fed up with it? I'm totally fed. I've been fed up. I was fed up in 2015. I didn't want to see that son of a bitch run for president, and you guys elected him. Yeah, I'm talking to you guys that voted for him, especially you guys that have voted for him 3 times. Oh, my goodness. Where the hell is your head at? Well, maybe you want to see the country destroyed because you think it's the government's fault that the country has all these bad things that have happened. Well, and the end result, it was on their watch. But it doesn't matter what party they were with. Of course, Democrats cause a lot less damage than your GOP, of course, but they have all caused damage. But the reason why is Citizens United is still allowed. We don't need big donors. Everything needs to be small donors. Advertisements need to be no charge on all the major networks and in all media. Right. That way everybody gets a fair shot to get elected and nobody can take big donations. Right? Right. Money out of politics, people before profits. That's what it takes. The big companies need to be attacked by antitrust laws and dismantled. And we can restore the ones that have been unregulated. That's right. And we can go after these big bastards, the big 7, break them up, turn it into smaller companies, a lot of them employee-owned, and the American people are going to have a fair shake again, and the middle class is going to burgeon again. But until we do all this, I don't care how much unifying you want to do, Jankadanna. But when you start coming on with that goddamn populist crap that's always been a failure in the end, I don't buy it. Yeah, okay, so you get an MTG, right, and you get a Tucker, a fucker Carlson to get together on a couple of items. Oh, that's great. Okay, so now if you get a bunch of these guys together on a couple of things, that's great. But that's all they're good for, because in the end, they're still supporting the piece of shit in the White House. They're still supporting him until they abandon all support for him and the 2025, Project 2025 agenda. You're sunk. We're sunk. We're SOL, my friends. We're SOL. So this is why we need more No King stuff. Next time we need to have 12 million out there, 14 million. Yeah, let's keep going. Let's unite. Let's get on the common issues, which is the great populist thing that my friends are not really my friends because they abandoned what is really the left, TYT, are doing. It is a noble cause they have, and let's support causes like that. Let me say this though, I have an objection to them calling themselves left. They're not left wing. On a good day, they're centrist capitalists. And I'll tell you what, if you're a capitalist, you're not very left. You're mostly on the right. That's correct. Capitalism is the problem, especially when it's unregulated like the way it's going these days. So let's get rid of all that crap. Let's get the money and the power back in our hands where it belongs, where it was originally intended to be, because when they created all this stuff, the founders created all this, that gave about 20% of us a stake in what was going on. And then gradually, finally, after World War II and in the 50s, we got a big burgeoning middle class, which after 77 started going down the shithole. And when you guys elected Reagan, that was a huge mistake, because this guy was one of the biggest liars that we've ever had in the White House. Now, here's the thing. He did say some useful things. Everybody says some useful stuff. So what we have to do is take what's useful and discard the rest, hoping that these GOPers like Carlson and Green are going to come over to our side and really help out, not beyond a couple of issues. I'm sorry. Because in the end, they're still going to support the guy we don't like, that we didn't vote for, that we don't want, and that those of you who have abandoned don't want again. Okay, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you next week.